So hiring is a huge topic right now in this labor market. And so what specific questions do you have for us about hiring? Is it where to place an ad? Is it what to say? Is it how to?
Unmute yourself and jump in.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think where to place an ad is, you know, we've done Craigslist, we've done Indeed. It seems like with Indeed, we're getting a lot of resumes of people coming from Burger King, you know.
Yeah.
um, they're they're just not um, qualified.
Okay.
And I have already a front desk admin that is fairly new to dental. So I really need somebody with some experience.
Okay. So it's a tough deal right now. I know. I talked to a doctor yesterday, and she's like, "I got to have experience." I mean, because we've got enough new people. Same thing. So some of the sites, Eric, help me fill them in. You've got dentalpost.net is one. What are some other sites that you like?
I yeah, I like my Facebook page as long as you're sharing it and boosting it and doing all the right things to create the ripple effect. I think that's okay too.
Mhm.
I think still word of mouth with your team. That's especially hygienists that work in other offices. You know, who do you
Yep.
know? Hey, let everybody know everywhere you know that we're hiring. Have your people share your Facebook post that you're doing that. We'd love experience.
Yeah.
It's harder and harder, just so you know, Sophia, it's harder and harder to find someone who has experience to work in your office. Why? Because the only reason they either they don't like their boss and they're leaving, okay, or they just moved to the area.
Here's something called clouddentistry.com. That is a digital platform for messaging and booking dental staff on demand. I'm not too familiar with it, but I've had a couple of clients using it. So not sure if that works for you. There's OnDiem that came out of the Dental Peeps network. That's ONDIEM, and I think that you have to pay for that. There's
And I think you
ZipRecruiter.
got to be pretty populated area for OnDM.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's ZipRecruiter. Yeah, Facebook Jobs, like you said. Um, the Dr. Bicuspid was starting a hiring website. I'm not sure where that went. There's also, you can do like a Zoom meeting like we're doing right now and do like a job fair. So it's not an individual like interview with somebody, but if somebody's curious about what your office is like, do a job fair, and you can have like uh, go around tour your office. They can meet the team, they can meet the doctor, and you can kind of pick out people and put them in a breakout room in Zoom. And if you're really interested in them, I know I've suggested this to an office that has several locations. Then with COVID too, you're not getting all these people in your office, and put them in a room and go farther with that. You can work with a temp agency. What are they getting? Are they getting dental people, dental background? Do they have any dental background people in their database? So a staffing agency, I mean, not just a temp agency, but a staffing agency in your town. So those are some things that can work. I have a couple of teams right now who are offering everybody search plan bonus. So if your team members, current team members, find an employee, they get a bonus if that employee is hired and sticks around. So you can decide.
That's a good idea.
I think it's like $500 if they find a team member that stays for at least 90 days. They get $500. So yeah, Dr. Raymond.
Oh yeah, Paul, a couple of things that we had done that was very successful. And I'm sorry, I was asking Karen, there was a website that we had used that was very good. It was so good, I forget it now. But in that case, one thing we would let our vendors know that we're searching for someone, people that
Yes.
come in, our salespeople that do our supplies and everything, we let them know we're looking for an admin person if they happen to know of anyone, or if they could spread the word. And the other thing we did, we called other local dental offices and spoke to their front office person, their administrative person, and ask if they tell them that we're looking for, an assistant or whatever it may be, and would they happen to have any resumes they would be willing to share with us that we could maybe interview. So
Yeah, we had good relationship with these
We
people.
did.
It wasn't like, yeah,
but that
Yeah.
worked several times. 'Cause
You
they
weren't
would know-
proselyting, huh?
Yeah. And one last thing, if someone did answer for your job interview, we would never let them just send us a resume. They had to show up in person with their resume.
Nice. I like that.
That really cuts out a lot of people just shooting out all their resumes to all these dental offices. If they're serious enough to bring their resume in and be interviewed by you or your team, they're serious, and you can meet them and you
Yeah.
get a sense about them from that instead of like a piece of paper. So
I love
But
that.
that's-
And
That
So
is
good.
how we got our most recent assistant. She came in. I don't even know if she was responding to an ad, but she didn't send us a resume over the ad. She just came into the office and we hired her, and she's been excellent so far.
awesome.
good.
Usually I have my team take that person out to lunch and
Yes.
for an hour and get to know them and come back and give me a recommendation. It actually ends up that the team probably hired most of our other team members versus myself in that way. Once they'd been there long enough,
Yeah.
they knew exactly who would fit into our team and who wouldn't. They would know better than I would most of the time. So
Just like everything.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So there's a hiring process, kind of a sample way to go about it. And I like what you said. One thing we used was the voicemail box. So let me share with you what that means. So it's similar to the person actually coming in. So there is a website called Connect Me Voice, and you may be able to do this with like Call 8, KALL 8.com. But you can get a voicemail box right here for like a month or whatever. And you can set that voicemail box up and put that phone number in your ad, and you can ask people to call in and leave why they are the best candidate, leave some information about themselves. And that can be a great way to filter people. I want to hear, can they speak English? Can they, what kind of questions are they asking? Like, how much time off do y'all give? How much is this job gonna pay? We get questions like that, and you're like, I don't even want to read your resume, because resumes can lie. They can not represent the person. So, good stuff. What else are y'all doing that's working right now? Compensation. I mean, Walmart's paying $17 an hour to start. Is that crazy or what? I think you're on mute. Want to say that again?
who's talking?
Somebody with
I didn't hear anybody.
Stephanie?
They were on mute. They were on mute. Stephanie, maybe?
No, I just said that is crazy that they're getting paid $17 an hour to start.
nuts. It's just really a crazy situation. So if you're a manager and you're working with team members on their compensation, let me just share something with you that we recommend, highly recommend, is a compensation worksheet, where this would be for a job offer or for your current existing employees, where you're putting down, you see, people focus on the hourly. They need to stop that. Don't focus on your hourly, focus on the package. Okay? So this puts down their whole package, all their benefits, everything, comprehensive package. And then you get a gross compensation number. And this will really help you in hiring when people are comparing what's going on, especially this benefit section right here. They might go down the street for $1 more an hour, but their package is going to be lower.
They need to know all the information.
Yeah, for sure. What does all that come to? You're going to pay for uniforms or not, your continuing education that you provide for them, or any other benefits, bonuses. How much does your team usually make in bonus? Those type things. So those are important pieces in the hiring process. And I'll tell you another thing that like Cedar Solutions put out recently is don't wait. It used to be, hire slow, fire fast. And now we're like hire fast and
You
fire
can always let them go. You can always let them go later if it don't work out. There's not enough candidates. Well, there's not enough candidates right now. No matter where you look in the country, there's not enough candidates. And I just want to make sure everybody understands why. Let's take hygiene, for example. Well, you had this outbreak and this fear of, I'm going to get COVID if I'm cleaning someone's teeth. I'm 55. I'm in a high risk category. I was going to retire in a couple of years anyway. Sayonara. So we had 4 or 5 times the number of hygienists retire. Just like that, not coming back. And then on top of it, the schools didn't produce more hygienists. They weren't open. So we not only do we only have the normal number of people retire with the normal refills coming in, now we had an exponential, just a huge outbreak of people canceling and a low number of people graduating. There's nobody. So especially in hygiene. So this is what creates a problem. Temp agencies don't even have hygienists. They can't even use. So, and I'm not a big fan of temp agency hiring that way anyway. It's very expensive. So how do you find people? Well, the next thing was unemployment. So now the unemployment says, hey, here's extra money to stay at home. I don't even, what's the amount? Is it a weekly amount? 300 a week is the extra amount? Is that the
like
number?
that? Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, well, I'll just stay at home. So assistants, admin, we're like, I'll just stay at home now, raise the kid, take care of the grandparent, whatever it is. And so now that ends September 30th. So here's the thought process is October 1st, will you see more applicants? November 1st, will you see more applicants? Yes. The challenge is, do you want someone working for you who sat at home for a year and a half, taking the easy road, and maybe they don't have the great work ethic? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is going to be to that. Maybe they have a great reason for being at home, and that's what you need to figure out in your interview process. And lastly, I would say ghosting is a real thing.
Oh,
most of you are young enough to know what ghosting means, and that just means no response, right? On social media, I got ghosted. Well, now in interviews, that is a term. You were ghosted for the interview. Over 60% of interviewees ghosted their interview. So Dr. Raymond saying show up in person with your resume is huge. If they're not willing to hand deliver their resume, they're probably just following the unemployment guideline of saying, I've got to apply for so many jobs. I've got to schedule so many interviews. It doesn't say anything about showing up for the interview because they don't want to get hired, right? So make sure you go through that process correctly, okay?
And another thing about speediness and just getting it done is people will accept the job, and then the other job that they applied for came in with $1 more an hour raise, and they decide to take that one. Or they go back and give their notice, and the current employer says, "Oh, we can't lose you. We're gonna pay you more." And there's a lot of that going on right now. So
not cool.
The other thing is really having a good team culture where your team wants
people want to work there. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of reputation do you have around town?
That's worth something.
Are you the cool place to be? Or are you like, oh no, we don't want to work there because so and so works there, and I've heard things about that office. So you got to really have a good culture where people want to work there. Yeah. Anything else on hiring?
Out of all the doctors I want to work for.
Okay, good. So we'll stop